This is Mike, NoStressMike.com. This is part 2, and I apologize for making at least these couple videos while I'm sick. And but the thing is, it's brought up stuff that I don't normally think about, and this is why I thought I better talk about it while I'm thinking about it. And now what I'm going to do is I want to get after the professionals. And I want to go step by step on this. Now, the exception on professionals is when it's an emergency, the professional is at their best. So you know you have to have the confidence in the professional when it's an emergency. Now, other than that, I'm really going to destroy the professionals. First, let me talk about professionals. We'll start with the police. Police is a pain in the ass. It seems like they want to harass us and make our lives worse than what it already is. But if it's an emergency, the policeman is great. If it's somebody you really have to depend on, he's the one you want to have to depend on in an emergency. Like I say, the rest of the time it's bullshit. And it's really about the same thing in the medical field. And that is, in an emergency, you can't beat an emergency doctor, an emergency nurse. They are the very best. So what I'm talking about is an exception to the emergencies. Okay? Emergencies, they do what they got to do. The policeman hopefully will do what he's got to do. When you go to an emergency and you need a doctor and a nurse, they are the best because they will do what they got to do. Okay, now, the rest of these professionals, they don't do worth a shit. And the reason is their focus is not the same focus as we would have. Like I say, as a policeman, you want them for safety, to keep us safe. You don't really want cops being around to harass us. See, so, and it's kind of the same way in the medical world. If their focus was on our health, then, hey, that's a great thing. That's why emergency doctors and nurses are so valuable. Okay, now, if it's not an emergency, their focus is not on us. Their focus is on what they were taught and their protocols. There's certain ways to do things. And this is what I want to talk about. So, now all you professionals want to give me shit. Give me shit. Get ready, because I'm going to come back at you. So just remember that. But anyway, let me explain. Okay, now, as what happens when you are sick, and I'm talking about in general kind of stuff, you have periods where you feel really bad, and you have periods where you start feeling better. Okay, now one of the things that just, and a good example of letting you know on protocol, their protocol is much more important than our health. An example is, it's time to eat. They're going to bring the food around, and they're going to set the food up there for you to eat it. And that might be that time where you feel like shit. So you don't feel like eating. So then you just missed it. They're going to come back around, they're going to pick it up, and you're taking a nap, and then you wake up, and now you're feeling much better. But there's no food. Or the food's cold and shitty. Okay, so that's a good example of explaining the protocol. And the thing is, you are not the important person. They've got a whole bunch of people that need attention. See, so that's why they work that way. That's why they don't take care of us. So in this one, I'm going to start explaining how the body works and how you're supposed to do it. But it only works, like I say, when it's people that you truly concerned about. That's the only people that it works. And these other people, like I say, the doctors and nurses, they're there for the money. It's all set up for the money. The hospital is set up to make money. The doctors and the nurses, everybody wants to make money, so they've got a protocol that they got to do. And that protocol isn't, let's make sure you are healthy. No. There's certain things that they have to do, and they're going to do it that way. Okay, so, and it applies all the way around. I mean, okay, one of the things that you're going to hear me talk about, and that's what the main thing about all these videos are going to be about, this series, is touching. Because by touching, you can find out a lot of stuff about the body. And you see doctors and nurses, they don't touch you. Why? They don't have time to touch you. They got too many sick people in there. So they're not going to touch you. And what they're going to do is, well, maybe we need to line up a test. So run a test on them. And then, yeah, okay, we'll run a test on them, okay. And, well, we'll run that test tomorrow because it's getting close to, everybody's getting ready to go home. So we'll run the test tomorrow. You understand where I'm going with on this kind of stuff. So it doesn't work with professionals. Like I say, they're providing a service that you're paying for, and that's what you're going to get, is something that they're paying for. That's why when I teach, I really like teaching man and wife, because this is somebody that's concerned about it. All right. One of the things that, now I'm trying to teach my new wife all this stuff. She's a pharmaceuticals, whatever they call them. And so I'll just dig them the medicine and it don't go for that. You know, she has no idea how the body works. But she knows how this medicine works. Well, that's really good. But the thing is, and this is what doctors and nurses do. They give you medicine, and then, well, if you get better, well, good. If you get worse, well, we'll change the medicine. You know what I mean? That's bullshit. It's not supposed to be like that. And an example is if your child, now this might be a bad example, because nowadays people don't even know how to take care of their own children. But like I say, in my days, I'll put it that way, in my days, when your child gets sick, you don't just throw them in bed and you wait, 4 or 5, 6 hours and go see how they are. You go check on them. You check on them quite a bit. And when you check on them, you're touching them. You're feeling them for fever. You're feeling them. And I'm going to go into detail on where you're touching and what you're looking for when you're touching them. That's what this series is about. But anyway, this is what you do with your child. And then you make sure that they have water for their fever. A lot of this stuff you already know. But like I say, we have been dumbed down thinking we're not smart enough to do all this stuff. But like I say, my kids, I can't think of any right offhand when they ever went to the hospital, emergency hospital. But like I say, they'd have to be close to dead before they're going to be going to the hospital. Well, we didn't have insurance. That was one thing. And so we had to learn this stuff. And the same thing going to the doctor. We're not going to take my kids to the doctor unless it's something we can't figure out what it is that's going on with them. My cough. We're going to be talking about all this stuff. How to locate it, how to treat it, and what to look for. And these are things that doctors and nurses, I think they know. They've just been educated so much that they're too stupid to do all this stuff. But like I say, this is something that, as we get educated, I've learned they educate us to tell us that we don't know. We're supposed to get a hold of somebody else. Somebody else knows. 911. Don't handle this. You're too stupid. Call 911. Let a professional handle it. Okay, whether the professional is Is an ambulance? Is it a what do you call it? A policeman or whatever it is? You're too stupid to handle it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what education does to you, and that's what happened to the law enforcement and to the medical world. They've lost the simpleness of caring for people, and this is what we're going to be talking about. And I think I've pretty much covered all of this. Hopefully the next video we'll start into how to do it. And it won't be today. It's going to have to be after I get well again. But anyway, I wanted to explain what this series is all about. It's Mike, NoStressMike.com. This is number 2. Ready for number 3.